Good day, it's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. Today we're going to run through packet slicing and how to extend your capture time with specifically packet slicing. So I think this is going to help a lot of people out. So packet slicing, what is it? When a frame is received, you have to decide if you want the whole frame. Now, you have to pay attention to your equipment. All vendors, all products may have packet slicing already turned on, they may have it disabled, some have only fixed settings, some you can type in a number. You'll see all of that throughout this presentation, but you should make sure whatever tool you use, whatever packet-based tool you have, you need to understand how or if it's packet slicing at all. Saving a portion of the frame header will require less storage, and it's a really simple concept. Here's your frame. It doesn't matter how big it is, 1518, 4000, it doesn't matter. The point is the first 128 bytes in most cases, it's a general rule of thumb. You can get the MAC address, the IP, the TCP, UDP port number, and a bit of the application header. And that's incredibly important. Now you can go and capture a packet and find out exactly where you want to slice it, but 128 is a pretty good place to actually start. Now why? Why are we going to packet slice at all? And it's a very, very valuable technique because there are some examples and reasons when to consider slicing. Things like the data is not useful, unreadable, encrypted. So what's the point of saving that extra piece of payload for every single packet if you're never or cannot use it? Now these next two go kind of hand in hand. You can conserve disk space or reduce your trace file size by packet slicing. You can also increase your capture time when you have limited disk space. So if you had 100 meg, for example, for your capture size, you might be able to capture, say, a minute of an application. And that same application, that same data, if you sliced it at 128 bytes, might get you 10 minutes, right? That kind of thing. Legal issues also abound when capturing the data payload of packets. In many jurisdictions, packet capturing is also considered a form of a wiretap, so you have to keep it the same way or treat it the same way. So just make sure you understand any legal issues around capturing data, even at work. You may be capturing sensitive data from the accounting department or whatever. So make sure you understand that. The last one is interesting. I found with some devices, and again, this is a general statement, find out what your product does. You can actually reduce the load on the capture device by packet slicing. So some capture tools that capture the whole entire packet or frame, I'm using those terms synonymously by the way, will perform better when you slice a packet. So if you're dropping packets on your tool, packet slicing sometimes helps mitigate or deal with that issue. So what does that look like? Well, this is an OptiView XG screenshot. It's a NetScout tool. And you'll see their slice, the default's full, and you've got preset values, 64, 128, 256, 512. So you would just go down the pull down list and choose whatever size you want. Now with Wireshark, which is what again a lot of people use, you can enter a value. So you can actually type 128 or 212 or whatever it happens to be into that packet slice variable. Now here's the thing, with Wireshark it's called a snap len, and that's their terminology. So that's the other thing you have to contend with, is every vendor will have a different terminology for packet slicing. That's also key to understand with Wireshark if you decide to do things through the command line interface with their tools such as Tshark or dumpcap. Prophytap has a little inline tool called an iota, and theirs is a simple checkbox, and if you check it, it's 128 byte slice. So there's no adjusting. It doesn't even tell you what the value is at this point. So I'm sure as the product evolves, they may change that, but right now as it stands, it's a checkbox. So if you have a trace file and you captured a sliced packet, there's a few things to keep in mind. Number one, obviously, you will never ever get that sliced data back. So if you had a sliced packet and you said, oh, I wonder what the login ID was, and that was down at the 300th byte position, and you sliced at 128, well, guess what? It's gone, right? So you have to make sure you understand where to slice and what you're never going to see again. Your tools will actually tell you, like this Wireshark trace will say 64 bytes captured, 443 bytes on the wire. So it doesn't say it's sliced. You have to make that assumption. Some tools will actually say packet sliced at 64 bytes or whatever it happens to be. And that's it. So packet slicing is a really cool technique. We used to use it a lot in the 90s because we had really small disk drives. But as network speeds increase, we always end up having to go back to slicing packets in the field. Have fun. Have a good day. Bye for now.